What is up, everybody? Oh man, it's been a while. It feels like it's been forever. I know it's only been a couple weeks, but yeah, guys. Last week had a little bit of a scare. Had to get an appendectomy, whatever. My appendix ruptured, and yeah, I'm back now. Had to take a few days off from work, and yeah, I was out of it pretty good, but was able to watch the fights, and then I'm not lagging and missing out on the fights that I did not comment about from the week before. So jumping back in, feet first right here. Gonna talk about, we're doing the what's next today on Errol Spence Jr., the undefeated IBF and WBC unified welterweight champion, which is 147 pounds, excuse me. Want to talk about his options going forward, the real options, and then we'll run through the top 10 and see what what might lie before him heading into 2020. Now, the real option that we're talking about, well, again, he beat Sean Porter on September 28th by a close split decision and a very good fight, back and forth. That was a pretty good war right there between the two, and Spence got the victory and is now the unified and undefeated champion. Now, with that win, I don't think it put Spence at the top of the division alone. I think him and Errol Spence are kind of, him and Terrence Crawford are kind of parallel now. If you want to give him a notch higher because he's got an extra belt, that's fine. But I think if he would have dominated Porter, it would have put him on a bigger level than Crawford. The fact that he didn't, I think they're kind of even right now. So, so we're going to see. Let's take a look at the options. Now, we'll go with the obvious news that's been getting talked about right out the gate was Danny Garcia and Errol Spence were going to be are going to be fighting in early 2020. Now, there's already been talks that that Errol Spence is not happy with the way he beat Sean Porter, and he called him out on social media for a rematch, and Sean Porter came out and said, yeah, let's run it back, so haven't heard anything else other than that, but that just happened last week, so we're gonna see if anything else comes from that, because that was that was kind of surprising news. I think it was kind of expected that it was going to be those two guys fighting next, and Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, and now that they're talking rematch, I really think that's big ups to Errol Spence for even considering a rematch, because Sean Porter's dangerous. Whether he would have beat Sean Porter convincingly or not, Sean Porter's a dangerous guy that you don't automatically just say, hey, I want to jump back in the ring with this guy. Shows you the heart and soul that Errol Spence has right there. So we'll see what happens. But let's take a look at numbers 1 through 10 at the welterweight division and see what Errol Spence is going to consider next. So we'll start with number 1, undefeated WBO champion Terrence Crawford. I think these two guys are tied for first now. Obviously, this is jumping the street, or crossing the street right here. I think it's a long shot. I would love to see it. I really hope the public demands it, but I don't know. I just don't see this fight happening. I think Errol Spence has different opportunities that he can take, and I think before he's fully convinced that a Manny Pacquiao fight's off the table, I don't think he's going to take the risk of losing his undefeated record before he were to get a shot at Manny Pacquiao, and he's got plenty of options. He could face other guys in the PBC that with big names before he faces Terrence Crawford, and probably make just as much, money or close to it, and he's going to headline, PBC cards instead of having to go to ESPN. So as much as I'd love to see this fight next, I think there's some chance of it happening. I just don't think it's going to happen, which is sad. Next up, we'll look at number 3, Manny Pacquiao. It looks like Pacquiao's going a different route. Right now, the Pacquiao news is that he's fighting Mikey Garcia next. And he announced that talks with Mayweather, a rematch with Mayweather, have begun. So it doesn't look likely that we're going to see Spence and Pacquiao next, at least. I'd say that's a fight probably better suited for the second half of next year, if it happens at all, to be honest. Next up, at number 4 is Keith Thurman. Excuse me. I don't think this fight happens next. I think Thurman is looking to come back in the middle of 2020. He says he's got another injury or something he's got to recover from. So I think he's going to probably take about 9-10 months off in between fights. And I don't think Spence wants to take that long off. So I think Spence will be back before Thurman. And yeah, I don't think the timeline's going to match up. Plus, Thurman's coming off a loss. Is this a fight that Errol Spence really wants to take next? I think he would, because Thurman's got a good-sized name, but I don't think Thurman wants this fight. So I'm going to say no. We'll look at number 5, Sean Porter, a rematch. I do think this fight's got some legs. I think the PBC and Al Heyman are going to try to talk Spence out of this one. They're going to try to talk him into a Danny Garcia fight. But I think the public, the first week, is the reason that Errol Spence wants to fight Sean Porter, and for his own personal pride. I think Errol Spence wants to go out there. I think he wants to dominate every opponent he gets in a ring with convincingly and beat them. I don't think that he wants any doubts. So I think there's a pretty solid chance he fights Porter in a rematch next. So hopefully we'll see what happens. Number 6, Danny Garcia. Yeah, definitely a possibility of this fight. I think he's going to be the other option if Porter doesn't get selected for a rematch. I think right now it's kind of 50-50. I think Danny might even have a little bit more pull his way, because I really think the PBC is the way they want Errol Spence to lean for this fight. So I think he's got a real good chance of getting Errol Spence in the ring next. Number 7, Yordenis Ugas. I just think he's too high risk, low reward. He almost beat Sean Porter at a controversial fight back in March. He dominated Omar Figueroa Jr. and he still doesn't have a big time name. So I think right now they're just looking at him as kind of a not a right now option, because Errol Spence wants bigger names, and there are bigger names for him to fight. So I don't see Ugas as being an option. Number 8, Sergey Lipinets, another guy, pretty much same thing. Too high risk, low reward. And if he were to beat Lipinets, I think a lot of people would look at it like, so what? Because I think they want to see Spence fight bigger name guys, and there are bigger name guys for him to fight. Number 9, Thomas Delorme. Yeah, I don't see this one. Delorme, not a big name. He's kind of been there before against other fighters like Terrence Crawford, got knocked out. He need to build himself up a little more before he could earn a fight like Spence. So I don't think this is a fight Spence would consider. And then number 10, Josecito Lopez. I don't see this one. I like Lopez, but Spence doesn't need to just kind of stay busy against a guy like Lopez right now. He doesn't need that. So I don't see this fight being an option for Spence next. So I think it's only big names for Spence next. I really do. I'm not sure if he has any mandatories due. But yeah, I think it's only big names if he doesn't have any mandatories. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll talk to you later. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.